that piece. Also, Ricky is going to conduct us in our final piece for today, which is Liberty Bell, which he has arranged. So we'd like to thank you all for coming today to our 25th anniversary celebration. And a friendly reminder, you're welcome to come up afterwards for our petting zoo to, well, you can't exactly touch them, but you can look at them and ask about our flutes. And more importantly, there's ice cream in the lobby. Thank you.
Didn't they do a great job on that?
Yeah.
As somebody who's a composer and arranger, one of the best learning experiences you can get is actually hearing your music performed live. Up until yesterday, because I was here for their final rehearsal, I had only really heard this piece from the audience on a computer, and believe me, it is not the same. But I would like to thank the entire Capital Area Flute Club for asking me to do this, and it's an honor for me to have been asked, and it's an honor to be here to actually hear it live. A couple things talking about this piece. I just got one word note so I don't forget anything. I was on by email and phone a couple times with Vi, who we communicated with regarding this piece. And a lot of people ask me, what comes first, the music or the title? Sometimes it's the music that comes first. And I have some pieces at home that I have all the music written, but no titles because I can't figure out what it's called. Here, the title came first. And we had gone back and forth about titles, and they had the title Silver Jubilee. So now, what I had to do is interpret the Silver Jubilee in the music. So I tried to capture the life cycle of the Flute Club from its beginning up through the current and into the future. So I two things that are really important to me in composing. First one is melody. I love beautiful melodies. Second is the harmony. And I like nice harmony too, but the harmony, you have to have a good melody first, in my opinion. And then rhythm third. So this piece started out pensively, beautiful in what I would have considered the beginning stages of the Flute Club when they were just starting out. Everything was getting together. People were getting to know each other. There was probably, I would say, not near as many people as you have now, you know. So it built up over the years, and what? Oh, okay, sorry. That's all right. And then built some excitement and everything. That's when we moved into the faster section. And happy. I also like happy music. And even though I write some things in minor keys, I try to make minor keys even happy. So, but this was a happy piece in my estimation. And then if you notice the last two measures of the piece, there were 7 notes there that were strictly unison, means everybody in the ensemble is playing the same notes. To me, that means everything came together and solidified in the end. And one of the other things that I find happens in this, in flute ensembles, and I've been dealing with flute ensembles really all over the world, is that the members almost become like a family and they become close-knit, and I think it really shows in their music too. And I would say that's the case here too. So. Okay, a couple other things. What were the criteria for this piece? Well, time, up to 4 minutes. We were just about 3 or 4 minutes, something like that. We were just about 4 minutes on this. Ability level, you don't want to write a piece for a group, let's say that's too hard for them, that they're gonna say, oh, professional flutists might practice like 4 to 6 hours a day. Most people don't have time for that. And, so you want to keep it within a range that it's going to be accessible to everyone in the group. Another thing that was a criteria, and they had already mentioned this, they want good parts for everybody. So a lot of times on the bigger flutes, not so much the alto flutes, but the bass flutes, the contrabass flutes, I've heard composers say, well, it doesn't really matter what you give them, they're just gonna go oom-ba, oom-ba, oom-ba. No, in my mind, everybody's gotta get a good part, because nobody wants to sit there and play something boring. And I mean, I don't wanna do it. So if I don't wanna do it, I don't want anybody else to do it too. Couple other things. What's the difference between an arranger and a composer? I kind of thought that everybody knew that, but I just found out today that not everybody knows that. So a composer is somebody that creates the entire piece from beginning to end, like the piece we just heard. That came out of nothing, and every note on the paper was an original. An arrangement is you take somebody else's melody and you put your interpretation on it. Now, 3 of my pieces are on this concert today. The Ashokan Farewell, which you heard, is a beautiful melody. Jay Unger, the composer, he is the owner of that song. And I just put my interpretation of it. Now, in order for that piece, I had to get a license for it. Because if it's under copyright, you really should get a license for it, especially if it's going to be performed publicly. I had a legal department at one of the big publishers tell me one, I says, can I arrange this song? Actually, I had a couple things happen to me. And they said, yes, you can, but you can only keep it in the privacy of your home. Another time, I did a Beatles medley for a brass quintet, and I submitted it to a company as speculation, saying that would they consider publishing this? And they, besides saying no, they sent me a book back of copyright law. I had a big learning experience there. So out of the 3 pieces here today, the Ashokan Farewell required a license because it's owned by the copyright. The Silver Jubilee is my original. So no, that's free to go. The Susan March, since it's coming up, is in the public domain, which means it's basically owned by the public and anybody could do it because it's old enough. I forget what the years are, but it's maybe 75 or 100 years or so. Oh, okay. And one other thing, actually 2 other little things, is that this arrangement was written what I call the expandable form, which is something that I created many years ago, because when the flute choirs were starting out, early on, I'm talking back in the 80s, there were not big ensembles like this. They might have had 6 members. If a couple people got sick or they couldn't make it for some reason, the music they had was unusable. You had to have everybody. So as flute choirs grew through the years, the requirement for music was more important. So the way this expandable works, there was 25 flute players here. We could actually play this arrangement with 4 people if they covered the first 4 parts. The alto flute, the bass flute, the contrabass flute could all enhance the arrangement and make it even better. But if 21 people got sick for some reason, they would still be able to do this concert as long as they covered the first 4 parts. And and that's been appreciated by a lot of groups through the years. And the final thing I'll say about this music that I composed for them, it's only notes on paper, but it becomes music when they bring it to life. And they did a fabulous job.